Many times you are exposed to professors, very useful, but they give you one side of the story. She can give you the other side of the story, okay? So, yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Riccardo. Thank you, all of you. I'm very happy to see a lot of girls because I believe that business development, communications, marketing, IT, ICT, it is something absolutely suitable with women. It's really very important to develop female professional, women professional in the region. My name is Monica Costa. Knyom Jonjiet Italy. Knyom Rono Pratep Cambodia. Buon Chinam Hawi. Pimun Kowit, Knyom Toriam Piasak Mai, no Sakowi Jalai Pumi Phnom Penh. Jet Muechnam, Knyom An Sorset. Pontai Weliani, Mian Professor Kuru Riccardo, Dair Otni J Piasak Mai. No. So we speak English, right? But if some one of you have some doubt, or maybe later after the lecture you desire to have some little clarification, and if you feel more comfortable to ask this thing in Khmer, please do it. I'm happy to share this small presentation. You will find my website, my phone, and don't be shy. I mean, like, you find me on Telegram, and I'm always happy to share, especially when it is about students and young resources. Why I'm here, first of all, right? So I was working as a professional, marketing communication professional with a strong specialization about multimedia, because even if on the paper I've been studying business administration, I've been always loving creativity and anything connected with advertising. So since when I was in your age, I was working for communication advertising agencies, which is probably the best way to learn, right? Because you work with professionals older than you, so you go straight to the point. And when I was working there, I was in my 30s, a group of entrepreneurs from Thai, China, and Italy, based in Phuket, the south side of Thailand, found me out through organic research, because I was already very skilled with search engine optimization. They were looking for a professional to take care of their brand image for a new wine family, right, that they wanted to launch in China. So a big project. And they assigned me to design all this new wine brand, so the labels, the logotype, all of this. And then they asked me to jump from one task to another about offline and online marketing. And in the end of the project, so I was in Italy and I was working for them in Thailand. In the end of the project, they suggested me to come over. They said, Monica, why you don't come in Asia to see what is going on there? I've never been here, right? So I've never been thinking about to come in this part of the world. And I was very lucky because I was invited from people very well connected, mixed group, right? So Chinese, Italian, and Thai people doing business in the south of Thailand. And this is why I'm here, because they invited me as search engine optimization expert. And to be honest, I love my work, so I'm always studying, I'm always trying to develop new skills, and this is what I want to tell you. Today we talk about something that is probably one of the most demanded professions in this moment in the region: communication and business development. We will go deep about this, but what I'm telling you is 20 years ago, nobody was talking about business development. Nobody was talking about artificial intelligence. When I was a graphic designer, the people told me, why are you studying audio? Why are you studying video? You should focus on graphic design. No, you have to follow your talent. You have to follow your desire to know and to learn. Because only that will lead you to the expression of yourself, hence finding the real profession, right? If I was listening to the people that was telling me, don't study other things than graphic design 20 years ago, probably I was never here. And I never had the opportunities I had to work with the local businesses and all of that, right? So don't think that what you're studying today, it's like a box, a closed box. It will be like that for all your life. It's not like this. This is a starting point, and you are on a lifelong learning path. If you think like this, you will always be competitive in the positive way, right? You will always be, let's say, easily employable and all of that. So no fear for the future, and keep always your mind open to do things that you like, if possible, because when you wake up in the morning doing a job that you like, you will be always inspired to learn something new, and anything will be difficult, right? Even if it is difficult, you can do that because you like it. So, going straight to the point, actually I work as a senior Marcom professional, so I cooperate with different companies in the region, in Cambodia, in Thailand, and also Singapore. I have many projects open, so I don't want to lose time in this moment to take you inside of this, because instead I would like to talk about business development. Even if I am a Marcom professional, one of the things that people ask me more It's about support the company about business development or reorganize the way they communicate. So how is that communication and business development go together? We're going to see this thing in a while. You probably, especially in Cambodia, I always hear about marketing sales, but there is much more than this, right? So let me clarify one thing. As Professor Ricardo said before, business development is not exactly the way that we sell the product. This is sales. The business development is the strategic part behind the sales. So it is a department inside the company or some strategic profile inside the company that looking what the company is selling in this moment is thinking about the future, is thinking what's next, what can we do tomorrow with the product that we have, how the service that we do today will transform into the business of tomorrow, because this is very important, especially in a time like this where everything happens very quickly, right? So now everybody is scared about ChatGPT and artificial intelligence and all of that, but instead I think it's a great advantage. And so a profession like business development can be easily supported through artificial intelligence, because business development is based, one of the most important things is the ability of analysis. And you guys know that analysis is not easy, right? When you have a lot of data that come from a company, for example, you are working for a business and before to start a strategy, you should know what is happening before, correct? Because otherwise you are going nowhere. So when you receive the data of 1 month or 2 months, it's something. But when they drop on you the data of 10 years or 6 years or something like that, it's very difficult to get out the information that you need. It can be very confusing and very also extenuant for certain aspects, right? So there become very important to be skilled and being able to use, like for example, in this moment we have ChatGPT, which is amazing, can be used in a very strategic way to simplify, if you use the prompt correctly, to simplify the information that you need. It's all about the way that you interrogate the application, and the application can give you a lot of, let's say, very useful data that you can put together to have an analysis. It's all about you have to know what you need to get from it, right? Because if you see, probably I think, how many of you use ChatGPT, if I can ask you? Have you been trying? How many of you? Nobody? Just heard it?
You are a liar.
You are a liar, you don't want to say me the truth. I use VPN too. No, seriously. Well, it's good to do it in a very strategic and competitive way. I mean, I'm not telling you that you should let everything to be done from ChatGPT. You should guide the machine to do what you need. But why not? If it can help you and save you like 16 hours, 20 hours, that otherwise you should be in front of a monitor, putting together and clearing data. And instead, in this way, you can dedicate time to think, to put in action strategic things, right? Or organize things offline, like events and things that can be useful for the company. Why not? So, I mean, like, let's be positive about that. So, business development, right? How many times have you been hearing talking about business development and communication? How many times have you been hearing about communication? Many times, right? I suppose. So communication is what is going on in this moment, right? I'm talking to you. I understand from your eyes that you are understanding what I'm saying, and later, hopefully, you will interact with me. But the communication is not only some people speaking. The communication is what happens between people or people and technology, creating an interaction of information. If there is this interaction, it's not communication. It's just speaking, right? Communication sometimes implicates also, of course, critical thinking. So it means that if you are working with senior managers or leadership, they should be mature enough to understand your point of view and listen your point of view. Listen the point of view of everybody inside the company, even the guard, because sometimes from the most unpredictable people we can have an insight about why we are not selling properly a product that can fix an headache that was going on for 6 months, right? So communication is very important when it happens between people, toward people, in a context of sharing, speaking, listening, then listening, speaking. If there is not this kind of thing, it's not communication. When this transfer of information happens in a form of mutual understanding, we have communication. And of course, technology is very important, right? Communication involves the exchange of messages, ideas, and thoughts through various channels, such as verbal, written, digital means like anything digital we can use. And when we are in person, when we are face to face, we can be good speaker, we can be nice looking, we can be full of energy, but the most important thing is body language, right? When you go in an important meeting and you want to close the contracts, thing that very often happened to me, many companies drop me the responsibility to bring back the contract signed. What is winning is, let's say, 40% your preparation, 20% the way you appear to these people, the way they perceive you. But the rest of the job, it's the way that you can communicate with them through words and physical things, which is eyes contact, which is a lot of stuff, right? Effective communication requires clarity, empathy, active listening, and we have to make sure that there is a mutual understanding, right? This is very important. When you adopt a very, let's say, productive way of communicate, you should always ask to your interface, I do understand it, but not because this person is stupid, because you want to make sure that the way you say the things are clear for the other person. And taking care to understand if the person on the other side is understanding or not your message, it's a form of great intelligence. Some people arrogant will never ask you, did you understand? They will be like, okay, no matter. But if some people ask you, are you okay? Everything clear? Did you understand? Is not thinking you're stupid. No. Is making sure that the communication is happening in the right way. And in that moment, you can express yourself too, right? So you can say yes or not, or maybe this thing not so clear, blah, blah, blah. And this is what should happen in an intelligent environment. When we talk about empathy, right? Empathy, we talk about emotional intelligence. Empathy and emotional intelligence are probably one of the most requested skills in this world in this moment, because it's already many years that we work in front of computers and mobiles and whatever technical things, sometimes 16 hours, 14 hours, 12 hours per day. If we lose the ability to feel the people on the other side, if we lose the ability to put ourselves in the shoes of the person on the other side, we lose an amazing opportunity to create a relation. And this relation no need to be a super friendship or anything special, but when you are able to interact with people on this level, this is the way you start a good partnership. The difference between knowing some people and creating a partnership with some people is based on this. The ability you have to create some situations with the persons on the other side where you understand mutually what they can get from you to make something better, and how you can help to do this, how you can get their knowledge to improve yourself. So if there is this kind of sharing, that's the beginning of an amazing partnership. And I use the word partnership because business development is focused on this, not on sales in itself, even if business development should lead to an improvement of sales. But the most important thing for business development, it is build a relation and partnership. So, understood what is communication and cleared what is communication, of course we should ask ourselves, what is business development, right? Business development, we can say it is the process of initiating and fostering a relationship that will lead the growth and the success of an organization. So, I'm not thinking about the sales tomorrow. When I build a relation for a company, when I build a partnership for a company, I'm thinking about long-term relation. What can happen in the medium, long-term, and what we can do together. So, the difference between a sales strategy and the business development strategy, it's very clear. Sales strategy, we should focus on a product or a service. So we have a product launch and we need to improve the presence of the product in the market. So finding more buyers. With business development, it's a little bit different because, to be honest, we are talking about big money. When you talk about business development, when you create relations, you're not talking about peanuts. You're talking about big money, big things for the company. But it's not something that happens in real time. It's something that you visualize in the medium-long term in terms of growth of the company. I will give you some example later to make this thing clearer. When we talk about business development, we talk about something that a capacity to identify opportunities and developing strategies and executing plan to expand the company's customer base revenue streams. So we are thinking, with what we have, with the service that we have, with the capacity that we have, how can we improve the number of streams from where we get money? Now, for example, we make money with these targeted people. We have two sources of money. The ability of business development department, it is to figure out other streams, other opportunities. Who others could join us to buy our products and so increase the number of streams of money. Okay, let me give you a very simple example that maybe can clarify, okay? Real estate, you understand about real estate, right? So some people investing money in properties of a various kind. Now we are talking about some people that own a building, a nice building where normally there are, for example, offices and apartments. But for some reason, even if they do a very good marketing, they are not able to have enough rentals. And they point on rentals, right? They sold already, so we are at this level, and now the owners of the apartment want to see the return of investment, right? But even if they do good marketing, they do not have enough rentals. The price is competitive, the environment is competitive, but it's not working like it should. What business development could do for them? Examine where they are, what they offer, and think about other opportunities beside of rent for residential and rent for offices. For example, if there are the opportunity to put together more units easily, they could become a school. They could rent one floor for a school or for a medical hub, right? They never think about that. They were focusing on residential and offices. So just a very small example, but something practical in the reality where we live. But this owner of the building had never been thinking about this. He was thinking about residential and offices because he was told like this in the beginning, right? So this is a very simple and practical example of business development. What you have can be used in different ways, and the ability of business development, it is to help you to find out new possible streams of incoming with what you have. So not making you spend more money, not creating more expenses, but helping you with what you have, seeing what there is in the market, who can be other potential buyers of your service. For this reason, when we talk about business development, it can be very good to have an international team. Because sometimes if you stuck only on local point of view, it can be very dangerous because you still repeat, the same story. Instead, if you heard the point of view of Chinese, Malaysian, European, all together, right? You can take out a lot of amazing idea. Different maybe for marketing, because marketing in that case, very often you need to have a local team because you need to target local buyers. So you need to be sure that the message that get out is very clear for local market. But when it is about business development, the most intelligent companies, like for IT, like for ICT, they always put together mixed international team. Professor Riccardo asked me to participate today with this question: why technology is important for communication and business development? So why technology is important for communication and business development? Can I ask you a point of view based on what we said until now, right? So, we have been clarifying what is communication, we have been clarifying what is business development. So, in your opinion, honestly, what do you think, why do you think that technology is important for communication and business development? What is your idea?
I think it's improved how we communicate.
Yes, improvement? Some idea? Anything, just to have an idea of what your perception. So we know what is communication, we know what is business development, we are understanding a little bit better. And the question from Professor Riccardo was, why technology is important? Could we do communication and business development in 2023, almost 2024, without technology, in your opinion? Could we do it? Feel free to say your opinion. We live in a world where we use every day any kind of technology, mobile, tablet, computer, whatever, smart TV. At this point, we get ready for robots serving us some food, right? But so what is your perception? Do you think we could have a good communication and good business development ignoring technology? Yes or not? No. So we all agree that we need technology to have a good communication and business development, right? Yes, the technology is important, but the most important thing for business development and good communication is creativity, right? So even if you have no technology, but you have a piece of paper and a pen, you can do that. At last, you can start, right? That's the point. Be always kind and say, what is your preferred way to communicate? They will appreciate it at 100. Because maybe some people doesn't like to receive work communication on Telegram. Some people prefer to receive email because it's like that. And you can do it, it's not a problem for you. So if you understand this, it's also a form of mutual respect and mutual understanding that people, especially leadership, will love it. Right? Otherwise, during the day, we have, because of technology, I leave it, but I think you are very close to this. When you open the mobile in the morning, and it's like very difficult to understand what to prioritize because you receive the same messages on different chats. They want to make sure that you read on WhatsApp and also on Telegram, and it's like an headache, right? So always make clear with the people on the other hand, how do you like to communicate? Another thing is about operation improvement. Why technology is important for communication and business development? We said because it permits to improve, to enhance efficiency, because it permits to target properly communications, right? And people with that. And because improve operation. And a third one is develop a strategy based on research, creating a comprehensive business development strategy that outlines how you plan to achieve your goals. So, now we are talking about another word that is very important. Especially in Cambodia, I heard a lot talking about strategy, marketing strategy, business strategy, sales strategy. But there is another word that you have to start to use, tactic. Tactic. The difference between tactic and strategy. Strategy is what I do to reach a result. So I discuss with my team, we talk together, we put our ideas, we do research, we prepare the strategy, right? That include everything that we can do and where we want to go. Tactic is how we get the result. How we get the people to do what we need. And here there are a lot of factors that play an important game. And these factors goes from neuromarketing to other psychology things. This is why I say, whenever you study ICT and future life for you will be business owner or leaders inside some company, don't forget to study a little bit of psychology. Psychology can be amazing when you need to create strategy, because the tactic that will lead you to the strategy realization is based on human behaviors. Right? So you can choose the tactic to get a certain kind of reaction in the people if you know mind of people, if you know psychology. At this point, we have everything that we need to put in practice a strategy, right? And in this moment, we should start to talk timeline. If you are owner or if you are working for some people, having clear idea of the time set, it's fundamental. So when you start a strategy, you should have, my suggestion is, especially after pandemic, before they was asking you timeline of 2 years. Now everybody reduced the timeline to 3 months, 6 months, because we are in unpredictable market time, right? So we need to be able to change it. So, but anyway, having a vision of what happened in the next 3 months, when you present your idea to the team, it's very important. So the timeline, you can manage it in thousands of ways. I'll give you a small example from a go-to-go marketing plan. This is an example of timeline where I show to some people we have a beginning and we have an end, approximate end of the project. This is important to make them understand that we know what we are doing in the next 3 months. This is not defined, but give to the people on the other side an idea of what is going on. And then I've been using some colors, right? Red, yellow, and green to explain. In the red area, we cannot do big things because we do not, in this case, this is a content strategy. We are creating the content strategy. So we need to be careful to finish all this part of the work within this date, if we want to have the deliverable ready to go within this date, right? So this is just a simple example. There are thousands of ways to make a timeline more creative, less creative, but the timeline, at last on paper, it's really very important and can save your life and can show to the leadership, if you're working for some people, that you can handle it. You know what you're doing. But if you don't talk about time inside the strategy, there is like something missing. The leadership would be like, oh, okay, yeah, but the budget and the time, right? Something like that. So timeline is very important. Yes, we are in a very unpredictable time, right? So the most of my life, I've been always working on a plan A, like this is what we have to do and we're gonna do that. And eventually having different strategies in case of something was happening. But pandemic have been a master teaching us that the most unpredictable things can happen, but if you have been spending the money to create a business or to activate a marketing project or a new product in the market or a new service in the market, you should be sure that this thing can go on in any case. So I would never think 10 years ago that I was in front of you talking about a plan B or backup plan, but yes, we should have it. Actually, I always have it. When I work for some people, I prepare the strategy and I can put my hand on fire that this strategy is gonna work, but I always have also the backup plan. Reconnecting to the reason why Professor Riccardo asked me to come here. Technology is important for communication and business development, yes. And yes, we have a lot of tools we can use based on our budget to improve our business development or communication capacity. And good luck for everything.
Can we take picture with you?
Of course, of course.